fucking did. You're not wrong. Walked out the gym limping.
Alright, I think we just went live for you to say that, Trey. But you're good though.
So good.
Actually, no, I think they missed. They might have missed that bit. Okay, I think we should be live. What's good, everyone? Are we starting? I think we're good. All right. What's good, chat? Let me know audio levels. How's it sounding? Is Trey too quiet? Actually, guys, just speak. Like, do a little testy.
Hello. Last time they said I was a little too loud. That's what I will say. I don't know if it is this time different mic, obviously different setup, but they said
that looks good to me. Trey,
I have a new mic. I have injured my groin. How's everyone doing today?
No, we're cooking. What's good, everyone? Yeah, we're having a fantastic day. I didn't even mean to have this screen up, actually. Let's do this. There we go. What a starter.
I love how we're starting on that foot. My groin is injured. Everyone, leave me alone today. I'm in pain while I'm on the show. What a start, man. What a fucking start today.
Still managed to get my energy drink. Still managed to get my Subway. Still managed to lose some weight.
Wow, he does it all. We can't for Toronto trade. That's the plan.
Oh, 100%. That's
100%.
like the goal. Like, I'm going to be looking mean in Toronto. I'm going to go with stubble too, I think.
I like that.
Typical.
No, you don't want to mess with that. Rab with glasses is like Jimbo with cheats. What does bro
Jimbo
mean?
with cheats. Oh.
What does he mean?
I said Jimbo with cheeks, and I said,
oh.
What the hell are you talking about? Okay.
DoorDash
Yeah,
Friday.
as if he thought he could just stroll back in, by the way.
That was honestly...
Okay, let's just dive straight into this shit.
Oh, yeah, we can go.
Let's just go into Jimbo. I got Jimbo loaded up. Here he is. Here we go. Well, this is the treat from Spence anyway. So this is how it goes. It started here with ad for the rotation. And he said, well, here we go. Jimbo's back. I can't believe okay, you know what I can't believe is this guy, Arkibs, and the boys that were trying to team with him. That's the more outrageous shit to me. Because, like, I think it's expected that Jimbo and these guys, like, they don't have any other shit going on in COD. They're going to try and sneak back in. But the guys that play with them, like, volunteer to play with them, that shit is crazy to me.
I actually have a weird take on this. I feel like Jimbo should be allowed to play, but only on LAN. But only on LAN.
But what is the take?
This is the most hated take.
He should be allowed to play, but only on LAN.
Are you good?
But, like, to be fair, bro, I don't know. I do think he's permanently suspended, right? Like, that's his ban, right?
Yes, because he cheated on LAN.
Spence then said, so we thought maybe he was going to be able to play because he signed up, but, like, it's an open Challengers Cup, so, like, anyone can sign up. But you might have thought that his shit might have been auto-flagged as not being eligible. But then Spence saw it and was like, yeah, he ain't eligible, dog.
The ban he got, I remember he got the ban on LAN, but does that mean he was trying to cheat on LAN there?
The feeling is probably not. The feeling is that he cheated in the lead-up qualifiers.
Yeah, from his account.
And then he was exposed at the time.
Listen, bro, he cheated. He cheated.
Yeah,
he cheated. He should be allowed to play,
Forsaken.
regardless of where you are. You should not be allowed to play. You cheated. Like, you cheated.
He
should be extradited. He should be pushed out of every esport category possible. He cheated in a competitive video game. You should be done for the rest of your life. Goodbye, Jimbo. Thank you for never coming back. Ace, terrible take. We're done.
Jimbo, X-Defy in 2026.
Honestly, he's going to do that shit. I could say. Because to be fair, a lot of the CS guys, I think he will, yeah. X-Defy Pro League, Trey MVP, 1.3s every event.
Yeah, you wait till
this show. Man, give us some credit. 1.3. Let's get like a 1.5, 1.6.
Hey, I'm getting old now. I ain't moving like I used to. 1.3 is extremely valid enough.
We'll take a 1.3. But it's like with a lot of the CS guys, like, I don't know if you remember, but the iBuyPower CSGO team, those boys like Brax and those fellas that got banned for match fixing way back in the day in CS and got banned for competing in CS as a result. They all made the comeback when Valorant came around. They all just switched over and started going pro in Val because Riot hadn't banned them. So they weren't like actual.
I swear they weren't actually bad. You know what I'm saying? They weren't actually bad. They were just
no, exactly. Yeah, they were good players, but it's like they just got banned for match fixing. So ain't ideal, is it?
Also, everyone reacted too quickly to my point. My point was let him play only on LAN so he gets slammed without cheats. That was what I was trying to get out.
Really? Was it?
So badly.
Yeah, was it?
Everyone reacted so badly to it that I didn't even get that part out.
Nah,
So
the back check is crazy for this guy.
Damn, man.
Okay, all I'll say on Jimbo is like, I don't understand how there was a miscommunication here. The other thing on Jimbo is, I know people might say, oh, well, he's always claimed that he wasn't cheating. I don't think that's true just because, sure, initially when he got banned at that event, he tweeted Activision and said they're going to unban me. But then he deleted all his tweets, he changed his social media account, and he went AWOL for like 4 months. Like, if he actually weren't cheating, he wouldn't have done that. Like, he'd have fought it somehow. He wouldn't have just disappeared.
Plus, he had cheat accusations from Censor and other people online.
Yeah, Doug was making him monitor cam. They knew he was dodgy, man. And there was a story from Abizi that, like, because he was teamed with Classic at the time.
Yeah,
like
I was going to say
Classic,
this.
and Abizi said that Classic, when he was in scrims, was like, holy shit, Jimbo might just be the best player I've ever played in my life.
He literally said Jimbo is the best player I've ever played in my life. And, like, everyone was gassing him up. And then it turns out he was cheating. And Nick was like, makes sense.
He was actually like Standage is right. He was genuinely not shit in the league. Like he was borderline respectable. On LAN, he was borderline respectable.
He was dog shit. He was dog shit.
You slammed him every week.
I slammed him every time. He was dog shit. I hope he watches this too.
Yeah. I didn't think he was ever going to try and come back, but at least he could have tried to change his name. You know what I mean? Like
he probably logged on.
No, he did. Apparently, he was on a different account name, and someone found out as well.
But he was signed up on FAZE as Jimbo, I think.
He was literally as Jimbo.
I know that, but I'm saying like someone caught him out.
Oh, he did try and like.
Someone caught him out on a different account, like on a burner.
Damn,
Jimbo's trying to climb out 6 feet deep right now. He got to 3 feet and then they kicked him right back down into it.
You can try again next year. Yeah. Try again next year.
I mean, he probably logged on to Face It, like was like bullshitting, was like logged on to Face It, was like, wait, I'm not banned. And then like tried to just get into it thinking no one would recognize that his name popped up, but clearly we had.
The other three need banning too, to be honest with you.
That's my point, man. Like, are we serious? Let me find those guys, just so we can flame them a little bit.
Wait,
it's like
who should get banned?
It's the other three pricks that tried team with him.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Get
them gone too.
I mean,
no, there's no I mean about it.
Here we go again.
There ain't. It's like
Here it is.
It's like when
they even had the fucking audacity to call themselves exiled.
you are who you hang around with, like like if I have a bad group of friends, but I'm friends with them and they do like the most questionable shit, like I'm no better than they are. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm hanging around with them, just like those three knobs.
Okay, I'm devil's advocating here, but they could be under the wave of maybe he's changed, right? He learned his lesson. He got excommunicated. He lost all his credibility, all his friends, his followers. He just gets shit on every time his name comes up. Maybe he's changed. I'm not saying he has. We don't know that, obviously, and he's never going to get the chance to prove it because he did cheat in a game. But I'm saying these guys probably know him as a person, and they're like, maybe we can try an attempt with Jimbo, and he's changed. He learned his lesson, but obviously the community and everyone else is not having this BS. That's all I got to say.
Is anyone else
Neither am I.
This band and tries to come back? I don't know.
Trey looked at me like my dad right there. He was just like, yep,
What do you mean? No, he's gone. He deserves to be gone. Sick of this. He ain't coming back.
Does the league need to make like a statement on this and say, all right, you're officially banned for it? Because they never really said anything. Like he's banned, but they never really said it. You know what I mean?
They need a public ban list on the website.
That would be good. Yeah, like a banned players list or something.
For the noise.
That makes sense.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because also the Face It admin should have known. Like, there's no way.
I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone was like, "Oh, Jimbo's trying to play," and I was like, "Well, I was under the assumption that, because he got banned on MLG, like it doesn't cross over. But then obviously, if there's a big enough uproar, then people obviously like, they're gonna have to do something about it, which is what they did."
All right, let's talk a roster change. Asim is officially into Legion. I know we discussed this before, but confirmed over the last couple of days. Purge Asim has gone back to challenges. He was actually pissing in challenges yesterday for FaZe Black. So, I don't know. What do you think about this, Trey? Because some kids go down to challenges and they start frying again. It's like, is the skill gap just that great, or is it a playstyle thing? Or is it just what Purge was doing for that team? I think
comfortability thing, bro. Comfortability thing. You know, it's all about who you play with. You put Purge in the best challenger team, he's going to play well. He's not going to play bad. You know, you put Purge in FaZe, they're still going to fry. You know?
Yeah. Like, get him in there, man. I'd like to see it.
Are they going to be as good as Awadraza? No, but because the other 3 players around him are just so much better than everyone else, he's going to fry. Same as FC Black. FC Black is also now the stepping stone to the league team. Obviously, you get the free publicity with Zuma. So if you're frying on FaZe Black, Zuma's, he's got you in the limelight. Also, let's not make out like Asim probably deserves a spot. Actually, no, probably about it. I don't like saying that word when it comes down to this. Asim deserved a spot in the league. He didn't deserve to be dropped from Boston. So, shout out to Paris for actually bringing him in straight when they did. And shout out to Asim for, keeping his spot in the league that he thoroughly deserved.
Shout out Regretting for the big $5 super chat, much appreciated. Discussing how cheats can be installed on the drivers and firmware of the mouse and keyboard. Okay, so when OpTic Forsaken got caught Word.exe, I think he put in a USB stick, which is pretty outrageous. But I don't know, like, do you think you could do that shit, Trey? Like, have some shit in your controller and then rock up and...
Probably.
I don't know. Here he is.
People used to have it preloaded on Chronuses when they showed up on challengers.
We got people making full AI diss tracks with Kendrick Lamar's voice. I'm sure we can get some fucking I'm sure we can get some aimbot installed on a USB.
Damn.
You're so dumb, bro. Holy shit.
I'm sure we can get something going on.
People did cheat in challengers. Like that's a fact. That's like a proven fact. People brought Chronuses preloaded with cheats.
More people down.
You plugged it in. Well. You plugged in your US. You swapped the one people had in the CW all time in open bracket. They swapped out the Cronus they had with theirs. Plugged in the USB, and it was business as normal. Except your aim was a bit stickier. Obviously, you didn't have walls because people were standing behind you, but your aim was a little stickier and things like that. So that's a known thing right there.
Ina Dog, I don't think you understand. We don't actually watch the series here. We just look at one screenshot and then make our opinions from it.
I haven't watched a league match all year. I just go on the Breaking Point website, look at KDs, and assume who's been shit on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the name of the game out here. I just,
if you spew enough shit, it will somehow stick.
There's no knowledge. You know what I mean? It's just
I want to speak on the Asim thing too. Attach went on the flank. I believe yesterday, or the day before. I think it was yesterday. And he said that Asim solved pretty much is everything they were looking for in a player. So. I think he's going to be a good fit to this team, what they need, a bit more pressure and a bit more, especially respawn pressure, at least maybe not like, again, KD-wise, he doesn't look great, doesn't look like he's a 1.5, but the pressure he puts on the map in respawns is going to be really good and important for Legion playing against the top 4.
Pretty difficult first series. They play OpTic. I was just looking this up. This is tomorrow, but... I'm on a 1 correct streak on picking on the website. I'm taking OpTic. I think I have to.
We got Regretting with another 5.
We're getting another 5,
baby.
Woo!
Popping off.
Yeah.
He was using a dog cheat that's public. Yeah, the real land cheats cost 10k, 20k a month. Oh my god. Wait, imagine that shit. You're paying like 10k subscription for your cheats that can't be detected.
No wonder these hackers in rank play call me broke. Jesus, 10k a month? Fucking hell, yeah, they're rich. Let them cheat, and if they're spending that.
Well, this is why, cheap manufacturing is it's a profitable enterprise for sure.
I will say about the Asim thing as well. Like, of course, I'm only going to judge it based on. I'm only going to judge it based on the matches. 1, because that's all I can watch, and 2, because they're the most important. Scrims are scrims. We got Ravens saying they were good at invasion hardpoint in scrims, and guess what? 0-8 in the whole league. Didn't win it once. So, happy for them that they're coming and, scrims are looking decent. But scrims are scrims at the end of the day. You have to prove it in matches. And that's where you get dropped or picked up or, praised for how well you do. So, I'm happy it's working out so far. But it's got to translate to the matches for it to mean anything.
I also think like there's a possibility the team doesn't get any. I don't think they get worse. So that's the thing. Like I think there's a possibility they don't actually get any better, depending on how important Purge was to the team and the system and these other things. I don't think they get worse though. So I think realistically it's only upside. It's like either they get better or they stay the same. I think
we said they were 5th anyway, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean they're probably
they were like the 5th best team.
That number, but yeah,
like they're the 5th best team, and like you said, the pickup they can't get worse, and the pickup like are they going to be a top 4 team? I think what they have now is more upset potential. They were close to upsetting teams with the top teams with Purge. Now they actually have a chance of, causing one of those upsets. Do I see them winning an event? No. Do I see them causing an upset against, maybe an OpTic, maybe a Toronto if Envoy is not, shooting back at hardpoint? Yeah, for sure. Which is what they need, to be honest with you, because they can have one of these upsets at champs, which takes them from, a 6th placing team or a last placing team to a top 4, a top 3, and I think that's what they were going for. I think they're probably the most exciting team in the league right now in terms of they have my support as well as Thieves, because I actually think Thieves are a good team now. I think they've kind of figured some stuff out. Obviously, we've got more matches to watch. It's not just it's not just looking at a bit of paper and saying, oh yeah, that team looks like it's going to fry. Like they actually have to produce. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad the scrims are going well and it looks like what they fixed, but it all comes down to in the moment on those, 3 to 5 maps they play.
I think also like, yeah, guys.
I was saying it's tough to be in the spot they're in, to be in that 5th place spot, because there's not much, like you could put almost any player into that lineup and the separation is so big right there that 5th place is really a hard stuck for any team, right? Whether it's Pair, whether it's Legion, whether it's Thieves, whether Rocker get up there, whoever it is. If you're in 5th, pretty much you kind of have to be content with 5th unless something dramatic happens in the roster mania within the next 2 majors. 5th is going to be the top spot for 8 of these teams. That's the highest they're ever going to get.
We're also in a weird situation as well. We're in this situation where Paris or Vegas, seem to be beating a lot of teams, but they can't beat LA Thieves. Whereas LA Thieves can lose to these other teams, but they will beat, Vegas. So I don't know where we're at with who the 5th best team is, because if Vegas are beating everyone, let's say Vegas beats everyone below them but Thieves can't beat everyone below them but can beat Vegas. Like, where the fuck do we stand in this bullshit?
Yeah, and even Ravens, they came top 6 of the major. They were looking kind of promising. They come out and get pissed on game 5 by Surge. It's like, what's even going on anymore? I just think as well, if they do make it deep in a tournament, Legion, having a seam is just always a valuable piece if you are to go deep. One
Does it solve their game 5 situation, though, Rab?
Yeah, that is a question. Just because the seam search hasn't been that good, I think I'd be a little bit more hopeful. The seam isn't making the donkey play that Purge made in that round 11 invasion, so. We've got to talk about the CDL stuff, but yeah, go on.
I do, before we get into that, I promise you that round 11 Purge play was probably enough to, the reason why he got dropped, honestly.
In hindsight, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, but happy for him that he yesterday was dropping 35 and 20s in challengers, was crushing in S&D. I think he had a double pause in S&D. So, yeah, it's good to see Purge at least go down, get some confidence. I think he'll be in the league soon enough. He'll be back in the league soon enough.
All right, let's dive into this because we're actually officially back, ladies and gentlemen. The CDL come out with a big announcement the other day. This is arguably the biggest news that we've actually seen publicly in the history of the CDL. It's good. It's also frustrating to me just because we've wasted 5 years of this shit, man. Things were going so well in the run up to Black Ops 4. And then we had to just piss it all down the drain. But at least the positive thing is that there were some positive elements coming back into the scene at a time where there actually are lots of teams still committed to the future of the space and with money behind them. So it's not quite the same environment we were in several years ago. But let's just dive into this. So the CDL come up with their team agreement announcement the other day. This is what Daniel Say has to say on the matter. And basically these are the 4 key things, right? My question is, first up, Ace, all right, so outstanding entry fees are eliminated. Any fees previously collected from teams will be returned in full. So they haven't been paying shit for years anyway because they paused them during COVID. So maybe they paid 5 mil, 3 mil, 8 mil.
I doubt they even paid that, honestly. I doubt
a couple £100, like, they'll deposit down.
They probably paid the fines. You know, they'll probably get those back.
Yeah, exactly. That could be one. But my question is, like, how is this a franchise anymore? Because the whole point was you pay X for the spot and your spot is worth 25 mil. Now you haven't paid anything for the spot, so what's the spot worth? Can you get in for free? Like, is it a partnership related thing to get into the league if they want to do expansion?
I think it's going to be kind of like Halo now, where, you know, how they had their, like, you have to be approved by the league to get in, which leads me to believe that it's going to be an expansion, but I feel like you're still going to have a certain threshold of money to prove that you can actually sustain players and keep your spot and stuff like that. Because you're going to still have that concrete, like, contract in there where you can pay players and stuff like that. We don't want another red reserve situation where there's an issue there. So I think any teams that, like, I don't think you're going to see, like, the lower organizations getting a chance to get in it. Unfortunately, it's not like a CWO situation. I would love to see them bring back the CWO format, and I don't mean open bracket for anyone that thinks I mean that. I would like to see a situation where expansion happens with 16 teams, but we bring back a CWO format where it was 4 groups of 4, sorry, where online matches don't necessarily mean, you know, you go to champs, but they necessarily give you a pot of A, B, C, and D, and then the groups work out like that. That's what I would love to see. I think that to me that means the online matches mean a lot more, because you don't want to be put in D with 3 higher teams. Obviously, you get some points for it too, everything like that. I think that's what needs to happen. Also, sorry to anyone that thinks the CDL is dying. This post right here definitely means that everyone's backing it. And why would the CDL be dying when, like, we had this discussion a few weeks back, the owners like the CDL.
Especially compared to the Overwatch League.
They love the CDL now, trust me. They're gonna receive more money. Any fees they did pay, which I doubt anyone paid anything, honestly, they get it back. They get refunded. Like, who wouldn't want this? It's free marketing, really.
Yeah. I wanna say here that I think, as I predicted before, people were panicking that the league was going to be gone or there was no health in it or whatever it may be when we were discussing the OpTic Hex SCUMP lawsuit. But very clearly, during that time, I stated I thought it was actually a positive. I thought this was going to lead to positive change. And here we are with positive change. The league is going to continue. You have Microsoft coming in, purchasing Activision. There's a lot of money going to be flowing into, whether it's anything Activision related. You have one of the biggest companies, or the biggest company in the world, supporting you now. Beyond that, the reasoning for getting rid of these fees, in my mind, if I had to speculate, just based on, you know, business relations and the kind of wording that we see here, I think that they already have teams expected to join the league in mind, with financials back that they can support rosters and marketing and XYZ expenses. But I think the league, with this news, putting this out there, already has expansion in mind and already has teams picked out that they want to join, and is giving them more reason and kind of validating their reason to join the league, and not having to put up 25 mil up front. Because that's, if anyone uses their brain logically, that's going to be the hard stop to why someone doesn't want to join this high risk, high reward endeavor that we call esports and called the Call of Duty League.
Do you think I saw people saying this, like the Hex lawsuit. I feel like this has to take so much longer than when that gets announced, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, when that came out public, like, it's not like they all got in the office and were like, right, we got to sort something out now. I feel like this has been in the works for a while, especially, you know, we had this discussion that there was an article posted probably, like, I don't want to give like I don't want to say like an exact time, but like so many months ago, about the teams getting their money back from the spot, that they don't have to pay for it. And that happened before the lawsuit went public. So I don't know if the lawsuit had anything to do with it, or the owners were kind of annoyed that, they have to pay this much money and they're going to see none of it back, to the point where, like, that might be borderline illegal. That's like a robbery there and then.
I almost think it might have been like the other way around in a sense, because this stuff was happening, there was a feeling that therefore Hex and SCUMP pushed with the lawsuit. Because the big loser here in many ways is Hex, because they had to fund this 25 million spot, he couldn't just do this shit on his own. He had to make various business decisions that he wouldn't have otherwise had to make, selling the organization to, NRG effectively once he kind of got it back from Immortals. Obviously, that was a bit of a mess. And then selling it to Envy effectively. And Envy no longer exists because of this. And OpTic is no longer under Hex's control as it previously was because of this whole thing. So that, I think, is why Hex is frustrated. So my feeling, like, this has clearly been in the works behind the scenes for a long time. I think even Daniel mentions in the article that it's been like a year or something they've been working on this. What does he say at the start? Like, for the past 5 seasons, like, I don't know, for the better part of a year, yeah, there it is. For the better part of a year, been working with team owners. So it's like, clearly they knew this was coming. So maybe Hex's feeling was, well, clearly it's like an admission from their side that they messed up bad. So when this eventually becomes public, it's going to be quite obvious that I've been screwed over. And fair play, I mean.
I was going to say, I will say this about, like, people, like, moaning about, like, smaller orgs still can't get in. I'm sorry, but, like, if the smaller orgs want to get in, you got to look at the fees you're going to be paying in terms of players. Like, this ain't no, like, it ain't no small buck. Like, if you're, like, I'm not being funny, but, like, you want a decent team to compete, you're probably looking at paying over 500k in salary, even more than that. And I know for a small team, obviously you want to, get in there and get market and stuff like that. But we've seen it, like, no one really cares if you keep placing dead last every event. You're just going to keep losing money. I don't think people understand that, like, the minimum's 50k, but you want a team that can somewhat compete, somewhat upset. You're looking at paying 500, 600k minimum just to get a team that can shoot back. So
the best, yeah. And I want to say the example of that to back up Trey's point even more is the 2 teams that have kind of pushed to the top, Toronto Ultra and Subliners, right? Out of all, FaZe and OpTic, everyone knew coming in they were going to have support no matter what, right? No matter what happened. But the 2 teams that made it have consistently been paying. I'm not pocket watching, but they're paying over 500k at least for players, at least. And then a bunch in marketing. They have huge social media teams. They have videographers. They have facilities. They have they have multiple coaches. So, that's, you're talking $1 million a year payrolls happening legitimately to compete and actually look legitimate within the CDL landscape. So any small orgs, as much as we would love to see them in the CDL at some point or make their way up or grow, whatever you want to say, no, it has to be teams that can potentially hold up $1 million a year in their books. If not, it's kind of wasteful to even have them take this spot that's so coveted. Max week, we're getting 4 new spots. Why waste it on someone that's going to be another Legion Ravens case where, we just kind of make fun of them every couple months because they just, mess something up so publicly. And it's just kind of like, we're trying to, I think the CDL wants to prevent that from happening. Only legitimate companies, only legitimate organizations from now on into the future.
I mean, now, like, the money is going back. Do we see teams leave, Trey? Like, do your favorite team, Ravens, do they just say, all right, fuck it, we're out. We've got our money back now. Like, we're a shit show. Everybody knows it. It's time to leave and let a proper organization take a spot. Because I think Gorillas are going to do that.
Well, to be fair, I assume... Now, I don't think Gorillas are going to dip in terms of like that. I think they'll
it's just free money, isn't it, now? Like, it's free money.
I think they'll just partner up with someone. I think they'll just partner up with someone. I know LAG do want to leave, and this is probably the perfect opportunity for them to, but you can't just up and dip and leave because obviously they've got contracts still signed there. Like, obviously they're giving back the money, but that doesn't mean they can just fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe LAG is the only team that leave, but like I said, now it's just free money. The only, like, Ravens this year, they could just finish off the year and then next year be like, we're only paying them in, and then make the money back from what they do best. They get a sponsor that sponsors the team for the whole year, so they don't lose any money out of their pocket, and anything they gain is profit. That's what they've done with our Vanguard team. They had me and Gizmo on the min, and then the other two on more money, and they got the sponsorship money in, and whatever the sponsorship was, it covered the whole cost of the salaries and the manager and everything like that. That's why you didn't see any content from London, because why? They didn't want to pay for it out their own money. Smart, if you want to call it smart, so they didn't lose money like that. But I think people need to understand that, like, you still gotta have a lot of money to get yourself into the CDO and to compete with teams. No one wants to be in the league just to get shit on. You know, you don't want that reputation. I think what COD's gonna the CDO is gonna try and stop to prevent as well is like what you said, Rab. Like, I feel like we're the only esport that has like these organizations that we just roast constantly. Like, I know other esports have like bad orgs and bad eggs, but I feel like every single week, every single month, there's just someone getting violated because it's just poor management, poor something like that. So
I think in other esports, it's typically orgs getting roasted for having losing histories or losing records or just being a loser org, not really publicly like, oh, they don't have a facility. I think it's very different than for the reason that we do in COD. I kind of want to go a little more optimistic, though, in my approach with this. I think all the stuff being returned, all this money being returned, leads to a revitalization of the CDL next year. Obviously, I don't know when they're returning all the fees. I said immediately, maybe. But I think there's going to be actually more funds, more money available to every organization now to actually look professional, have more money for salaries, have more money for teams, marketing, all this kind of stuff for next year. So actually, I think I'm excited. I'm excited for next year. I think this means that everyone kind of has more of an opportunity to invest properly in their team and their org because they have funds coming back to them for one.
Rab, I'm just letting you know that these teams you're showing, 99% of them are broke.
No, I found you at the bottom of the thread. You're looking good. Yeah, premium organization.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That kid's fat. I don't know who that is.
Is that Mind Freak at the bottom right?
This is Mind Freak, yeah. I guess that was the next point I wanted to make is like, well, okay, is expansion a good idea? This was the debate that was happening yesterday. My feeling is that inevitably yes, but like for the immediate term, would next year be more or less entertaining if we have the same format we currently have with 4 more teams? Probably less entertaining. But if the format was better, then it would be better having 16. I think that's my opinion.
If they bring more teams in, it needs a restructure. It actually needs to... I don't know why we got... Like, obviously I know why now because we just don't have enough teams, but I genuinely don't know why if we get 16 teams, we can't just go to a format where, like I said at the start, you do 4 groups of 4, different pots for how well you do online in your online matches. Boom, there you go. The online matches still mean something. It scraps this whole starting and loser bracket bullshit, which I think sucks. And it makes it interesting for the fans too, in my opinion. You know, if you've got a team that's 3rd in their group and they need, like, you know, we have to win this series 3-1 minimum, and they go 3-2, like you're more tuned in to watch rather than just, oh, they're playing for 10 CDO points or fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd be more inclined to watch. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but that for me is like, that's the best of both worlds, and everyone wants to see the CWO back with open bracket. I don't think we need open bracket back. And my reasoning behind that was everyone's like, oh, the amateur teams got to show themselves. 99.9% of the time they got fucking pissed on. The teams that come out of open bracket, they got violated and never heard of again.
As they should.
And I'm speaking facts.
Right? No, I agree. Like, I would not always tune in on the first games on Saturday because what was the point? So I honestly don't mind like a Black Ops. So what I've got up here, this is World War II. And despite the fact that the game wasn't great, it was actually, to watch at least, it was actually pretty competitive. But like this was the format they used to run then. So you would do, the Pro League would be on LAN, of course, and you'd run 2 divisions. So like 8 teams. You'd run it a couple of times through the divisions. Be games happening all the time. And there was only like 2 dogshit teams. Like it was only Epsilon and Vitality in this case. I think maybe Tainted Minds in the second split were dogshit. But apart from that, it was reasonably good. And then Black Ops 4, I mean, wait, if I just type in 2019 here, let's see if this works. Maybe it won't work the same level. No, let me find it real quick. I'll come back to that. But like Black Ops 4 was kind of like pseudo-franchising, where it was kind of more like a partnership thing, right? Where there was no opens. there was no open bracket into the tournaments. There were still opens at the tournament, but you couldn't compete against the pros, which I think in an ideal world, I still want to see that. But like the format was just kind of franchising, but just significantly better.
Yeah, like I said, like we want to. I want that format back. I just think the open bracket, like everyone's like, oh, it allowed people to show their skills off. More people get picked up from the amateur scene now than they did back then. Hardly anyone got picked up from the open bracket teams that qualified. That's just facts.
People like, just look at like the Cinderella stories, right? Like they remember United and like probably Enigma 6, right? With like General and Proto and Morks and those guys.
I mean, I was playing an open bracket when I first competed. We were like, that was a time when like European teams we had to compete through open bracket. And like obviously like we were deemed as pro teams. So like we actually did do well in the group play and stuff like that. But I'm talking about with the solidified 16, no one really got picked up from there. Like more players get picked up from challenges these days. Especially along with like how the challengers has the elites and stuff like that, where Zuma and SCUMP and all those people can watch the elite matches and stuff like that. Because we didn't really do that back in the day, because like we didn't really watch the AM scene, because guess what, we were competing with them. But nowadays it gives them more of a platform to actually show themselves.
This is Black Ops 4, by the way. I mean, I'm just bringing it up. Like, I mean, what a season.
I think one separate note, that if 4 more orgs come in, for example, who are they going to pick up? What talent is available for them to not be shit? That's my other thought here. Like, who can they take from OpTic? They're not taking anyone from OpTic. They're not taking anyone from FAZE. Maybe they can grab someone from the other 2 teams, but they're paying well. So
that's what I'm saying. The new teams that are coming in, though, they're gonna. You want to hope they pay the buck. You know what I'm saying? The new teams that are gonna come in, they ain't just gonna come in, especially with the fees being waived. You would hope like the big dogs come in and just offer someone the bag to create another team that can compete with the top 4 and take someone from the top 4 team.
Ideally,
like
yeah.
Said,
I still think
like
there's
you
like
said,
a couple more teams you could form of players that aren't in the league that would be competitive with some of the weaker league teams, but like. You can only go so far until you get into that kind of conversation, Trey.
Yeah, you definitely need some like huge money to come in if you're gonna pull away. Let's say, for example, a scrap. Oh, he comes out. I'm offering this bag. It's between Sentinels and OpTic. Like, what is he gonna do? Is he really gonna turn down this offer? It adds a layer to the thought of expansion. It sounds great, but there is a high probability that there's not going to be enough talent to spread into these teams for them to even be competitive. So it's going to look, this year, one of the biggest complaints has been, oh, it's so separated, right? There's so much talent pulled to the top. You add 4 teams, does that even get better? Or are we watching the same thing on repeat? But the excitement is just because we have more matches, more teams, and more players involved. Is that?
I mean, that happens
really
that happens in every single sport, though. Like, and I look at like the Premier League, for example. Obviously you got like Man City, who would be probably deemed as like the OpTic in terms of how much money they got.
Oh, they're the FAZE, bro.
Yeah, no, in terms of skill wise, but how much money they got, they can just pick up anyone they want, and it's OpTic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be right with FAZE, to be honest with you, but anyway, like the point still stands is that someone's gonna get dropped from these teams, and like. If you don't win champs, like let's say OpTic, for example, then you want to look at Kenny, who gets dropped because it's like scapegoat type shit. He's not part of that trio type thing. Let's just use that as boom. Someone comes in, offers Kenny the bag. Another team that doesn't win champs, let's take Ultra, for example. They scrap. Let's offer him the bag. Boom. There's another. Then more teams. They're just gonna take the top players from the teams that drop someone. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's gonna happen. They're just going to come in, throw the bag at, a team, make that, and there's another top team for you.
I think that's plausible. I just my concern is that if next year's format is the same shit as this year, it's just going to be more dull because we're just going to have more online league matches that aren't run simultaneously. Because I think you make a good point with the Prem, but it's like on a Saturday when you have 8th team playing 15th team in the Prem, at least you've got like 4 or 5 other games going on, often simultaneously, that also there is to watch. Like, if you're going to add more teams in to the league, what they should do is, if they are going to still do online qualifiers, which I don't think they should, just do more major events because of the subsidies now, and they should use 2K and 5Ks on the weekend to do the seeding, but whatever. They want to keep doing some qualifiers, or just a pro league, or some sort of format like that. We should have simultaneous games back, because there's no buy-in anymore, and there's no like franchise thing. It shouldn't be a problem to have certain teams on Alpha and certain teams on Bravo. And there just needs to be like 2 games at once, I think. If you're going to keep with this format, there needs to be 2 games simultaneously.
That or bring back online tournaments every weekend instead of doing these matches.
Yeah, that's my ideal solution.
You know what scares me the most is that they've done all this to help the CDL teams and stuff like this. What scares me the most is that we already see budget cuts. Now they're making the teams not pay them and giving them more split and stuff like that. I'm scared where that, like, good for the CDL teams, but what about, are we going to lose more casters? Are we going to have less tournaments? Are we going to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what scares me the most. Are they going to, because they're giving stuff back to the CDL teams, are we going to see less and less quality stuff from the CDL? Like, we might lose another 2 casters because, they're not getting 300 mil from the teams anymore. We might lose out on a lot of things because of the CDL is not gaining that revenue from the teams anymore. That's what scares me the most.
Do you have thoughts on that, Ace? Because I was just going to say, like, I think it depends what Microsoft have to say. My feeling is the reason why this year's been so shit and there's no budget for anything and everything gets cut and the observers get cut and we don't have shift and study at the majors and all this bollocks, like, I don't know, like something happened to the budget situation because Activision Blizzard basically just fucked off because the Microsoft merger happened. Next year, theoretically, Microsoft are kind of calling the shots now. You'd like to think that there's different people in charge of making some of these decisions, and they've got so much money, man. They have so much money. Like, I'm not worried about the budget. If they wanted to execute and help support the space, the amount of money that they're giving out the teams is just such a drop in the ocean compared to the amount of money this game is making them.
I'm not worried about the budget. I'm just worried about what they want to spend. Because clearly they've got money now. It's not like they're broke, but how much do they care about the space? Like, Microsoft coming in, do they really give a fuck about the CDL? Probably not.
They care about what it can maybe make them in the long term. They care about maximizing shareholder value, baby.
Well, let me tell you that Blizzard maximized it by getting 27 million out of these teams.
Well, they said that
was the most maximizing thing you could possibly do. And they were just like, fuck, everyone fucking hates us because fucking hell, we just charge too much. We'll give it them back. Now I'm scared about where the fuck this is going to go. Like I said, congratulations. Like, I'm happy, like, the CDO teams, and it benefits them a lot more and stuff like that. But, like, we might have AI casters next year.
No, it's
the
more
day
like,
I get replaced by AI. That's
it's more like Microsoft and Activision is just cutting corners to save money. Right? They didn't actually cut the observers; they cut them full time and made them become independent contractors for events. So they actually didn't fire them; they just removed their salary.
I was on about like, bro, we're not even getting like all the casters at events anymore.
No, I understand that 100%. I think this year has been a very odd transitional year, going from the CDL being held and ran by these people to next year pretty much being completely overseen by a different group. So I think within the transition, sometimes you see some oddities happen, whether it could be anything. If you're transitioning between houses, let's say, for example, in real life, you can tell it's just an odd time between things. So people are just trying to save money. I think next year, again, I'm optimistic here, and not without facts, not without reason, but I'm optimistic that next year we see a true revitalization of the CDL, new teams, expansion, money back in their pockets, marketing budgets, better players, and the CDL that we've wanted since the beginning, since COVID happened, and then we had to, pretty much be seeing a kind of deterioration of what it was. I think we kind of see that spike shoot back up for what we all wanted the CDL to actually be.
I think this is actually, it's a good point you make. Like, I think this is probably rock bottom. Like, Major 4 this year is going to be the worst it's, like, ever going to be. And I think Major 4 is going to be fun, but, like, an incredibly crucial tournament for LAN World Championship qualification being held with no fans because Carolina messed up and there's no money. Like, that is surely the worst that the COD esports cycle is ever going to be. Because we were in the gutter 10 years ago. And then, you know, things
Carolina.
became good.
How about you put your major and now you got 27 million back, you fucking bums?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this stipend for the teams to start hosting some majors, can we not start that right about now? Like, you know, if we're going to do
Ravens, you don't have to pay 27 mil anymore. Have you guys decided that, you know, we're not going to host this in a fucking shack?
Well, okay. Let me back it up for a second here, because even on that list, right, of the new revitalizations agreements, number 3, I believe, is the CDL is going to subsidize events more. So clearly, team owners were saying you're not doing enough to help us out with these events. So I think that's also a massive change as well, that we're going to see, you know, CDL actually backing teams to do live events. Something has been missing, obviously, within that, and team owners were demanding it. So I as much as you want to clown Carolina just for the sake of clowning them, I think probably more than Carolina, other teams as well were feeling pretty pressured and financially burdened by trying to run live events throughout the CDL.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they knew they weren't going to get it subsidized. So why say you're going to host a fucking event if you know it's not going to get, if you know you're not going to get a stipend to host the event? That's my point.
Well, that's true.
Now they had to, my fucking.
Maybe they had to. You know, I don't know. Maybe they had to.
Yeah,
maybe every franchise has to run one, and they had to.
Had to. Who's not hosting an event yet?
Honestly, like, the fact that Atlanta haven't done one's pretty embarrassing for them, to be fair.
Atlanta hadn't done one? Atlanta done one like year one. Who's never hosted an event in the CDL?
Yeah, no, I'm saying even on, like, technically, because of COVID, the online events count too, because those were home series. So New York has done one. It technically is.
New York have actually done one, but like that.
They've done one for real.
Wait, is
I'm not taking the Paris Legion home series.
Seattle have never done one.
True though.
Ace was on a good run of like decent takes, then he drops that stinker.
No. Let me before we get back to this, before the decent take thing, I'm saying that due to being COVID, if there was a quota, so think business-wise, if there was a quota from Activision to teams, you must run an event. Per your time in the CDL, all 12 teams must run one, and then we'll rotate it in. During COVID time, the only way you could run an event was an online home series. So technically, if there was a quota, that would fulfill the quota.
Yeah, but we were doing a tour of the world when that was before COVID. Like, that was the plan. I'm saying during now.
Once it changed.
I mean, there's still teams that haven't though. Vegas.
Okay.
London have hosted one. FaZe have hosted one.
Yep.
Seattle have never hosted one. Vegas have never hosted one.
Surge has never hosted one?
Surge has never hosted one.
No.
Oh. Okay, Surge and
Thieves?
Legion.
Yeah, Thieves kind of haven't. I mean, they did like a joint one with LAG for the LA.
There was LA.
There was champs.
Don't count, bro. Don't count.
I don't think it counts. It wasn't like a proper one.
If you do a joint one, it don't count.
Look at this shit, man. This is the world tour.
I don't even know. Honestly, that'd have been cool, but it would have sucked for traveling. Oh my god.
They had no idea what they were thinking. But when I saw this, I'm like, these guys are clueless. Whoever's running this.
This is an NBA schedule right here. This is insane.
It's wild, bro. This is insane. I actually think COVID saved them. Like, people say COVID disrupted things. COVID actually saved them, because this shit would have blown up in their face.
London to Atlanta to Paris to LA. Oh my god, I'd have been dead.
You're on that like F1 schedule. F1's we're good for the environment, and then they go from like.
I mean, no, it would. Listen, it would have been cool. It would have been cool, but like, bro, there's no scrim times in there.
You're scrimming on land, basically. At that point, you're scrimming on the plane. Boys, fire!
I mean, that's funny because I used to actually do nade lineups when we used to go to events on my Razer laptop. I downloaded Vanguard.
Wow.
And we were just throwing nades over on the plane.
That's truly legendary out of you. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. You see, and they said I didn't care.
All right, wait, go on.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen those suitcases with the gaming suitcases?
Yeah, the games cases. Yeah.
Games cases, bro. People, I saw those in open bracket. I was like, these guys are next level coming through with these things in their hotel rooms with the games cases, practicing spots, scrimming, shooting bots and shit. I was like, this is insane, bro.
Bro, that whole date list you had there over the places, Rab, that was the most random thing of all time, by the way.
Yeah, that was just like that out there.
That was the most random. Like, all right, we need to send everyone across the globe to all these places that have bought a city, and then boom, they just thought, right, we'll go. They probably just randomized it on a random generator, and just said, here you go, guys, you've got to host this day. You got to host an event on this day at this place. This was not ready to happen. I mean, I'm glad COVID happened because I guarantee we would not have went everywhere here, bro.
I mean, it was only meant to be like 8 teams per thing anyway, but yeah, like this was madness, to be honest. And the fact that they were only happening for like 2 days at a time as well, just because there wasn't even a winner at the end of the weekend initially, just tragic stuff. But we got to talk about a little bit of drama, because last night on the flank, it was getting hella spicy. I've seen Ben come out today and say that if Scrap roasts him again, then he won't be allowed back on the show. So I'll just share this clip, because I think people have probably seen the other one by now. And to be fair, the other clips are too long to like dive into. Oh, here we go. He's just getting ready to go.
We're getting spicy, boys? Okay, I got it.
But I will share this one for Ben, because I'm sure this is quite entertaining.
At the end of the day, like, if you're gonna come on the show, be a polite guest. And he wasn't, and then he cooked me at the end. Like, he's very lucky that we'll give him a pass on this one. But if it happens again, I'm going to literally not allow him to come back on the show. So I don't know. The whole show was a mess yesterday. I felt like I contributed to the mess, and I apologize for that. But I also felt like it was just complete shit show. I also want to say one more thing. Well, the interrupting thing. I think Tommy's at the end of the day. If Tom wants to host a show, I think he's got to step in. Like, if he doesn't, if we want to have better flow on the show, like, we need to have a better culture of like him directing traffic on the show.
Back and you can hear me again. Man, what a time. What do we think? What do we think, Trey?
All right, so I will say this about the flank, and bear in mind I love the show, but they have a lot of people on there that are very opinionated, and then when you add a pro to the mix, so Ben and Aches argue all the time. And then you bring a pro into the mix, and then obviously everyone moans at Ben for not being a player, so he shouldn't have an opinion. I think he's right in terms of, like, Tommy's probably got to step in. Obviously, I don't want to overstep my boundaries. This isn't, I'm not on the flank or anything like that. Bear in mind, guys, Ace, Rab, love you to pieces. We'll never argue like this. Never argue like this. But what I will say is that I've seen a lot of people on Reddit say, like, the flank's good, but this happens way too much. And I think a lot of it stems down to a lot of heated debate and opinions, and a lot of them don't let them finish what they're saying. So I think if they let each other talk, maybe that will solve a bit of drama. But then, like you said, Scrap comes in there. Obviously, he knows the situation where Ben, in terms of the fans, think they don't know what Ben's on about because he didn't play. So obviously then Ben gets a lot of shit. So I don't know.
I think Ben's like, people that want Ben gone from the show, I think they'd probably enjoy it for 1 or 2 episodes, and then there'd be something missing from the show, because there's just something about like what Ben brings, the angle he brings, is just creates the entertainment, and that is what the show. Like, that's what you gotta understand. Like, the show is an entertainment piece. Sure, it's there to discuss and analyze the games in part, but what people are really like, if you look at the most successful flank episodes, they're like the Crim New York one and stuff like this, when there's the drama and there's the beef and it's going down live on air. Like, that's what it's all about. Ben doesn't help himself because, like, when he's talking about how nobody lets me speak and all this, it is entertaining. And I think Ben does need a bit of more self-awareness sometimes.
But he does it himself though. Like you watch the pieces he does, like, Aches will be sat there spitting and then no, and then you're like, oh well, here we go again. Like, obviously I'm talking like no one lets each other speak, but they all do it to themselves, and that's what's scary about it, because like, I'll hop in the flank, matches will be on, next thing you know, 3 minutes later it's a massive roasting session about everyone.
What do we think, Ace? We'll put the glasses on.
Where? Bitch, I'm little baby. Okay, Ben. You do it to yourself, brother. You do it to yourself. Questions were asked to I watched these segments back. The question was asked to Octane. You butt in and answer it. Then he's sitting there for 30 minutes. They talk to him, and then you butt in and start arguing with Pat. Like, it's done to yourself at a certain point, and we gotta just self-awareness is big here. It's very big. Is the flank generally, is there times when it gets a little chaotic because they have a lot of heads in the show? Yeah, of course. That's, like you guys are saying, that's part of the entertainment. It's part of what it is. You need someone fluent in Japanese, and Ben is Japanese fluent, right? You need someone part of the show that does that. I just think it's unfortunate. I think Ben takes it to heart, and the internet loves, if you take something to heart and you start talking about it, they love to troll you more and more. It gets deeper and deeper. The hole gets worse and worse. So if it just happened yesterday, this clip came out, and Ben didn't come on this morning and say that he's going to ban Scrap, I think this would have died. It would have been funny for one day, and it would have been done for. But now he's dug the hole deeper.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't. If he does that again, he's banned from the flank.
Bro, you're going to ban the guy that comes on every... Scrap, I think I've seen him on the flank every, 1 or 2 weeks. He comes on, guests on the show. His voice is in the show. He streams a lot now. Why even make that threat? It just seems silly. And one of the biggest personalities in the entire community, you think you have the authority to ban him? I don't know. I think at that point, you're setting yourself up to get chin checked, embarrassed, or just, if you do ban him, you're hurting the show that you're working on. It's one of the three. There's only 3 options. So I don't like any of those.
Also, at the end of the day, it's Zuma's show, right? So it's like, I know it's kind of Zuma and Ben's show, at least it was initially, but let's be honest, it's Zuma's show. So
yeah, I mean, you can't, like you said, it's like Scrap's a big personality too. If let's just say if Ben bans Scrap, I can promise you Ben's gonna get more backlash than he would if he's just doing it now. Bear in mind, I love Ben, but sometimes things get disrespectful. Not over on these ends, because we all love each other over it. We don't no disrespect over it.
Gentlemen.
We've got Ace doing his, devil's advocate, but we have to sit there and listen to it because we love Ace, and that's our argument. And he is our Ace is our yapper, but we love Ace. We love Ace.
It's a sacrifice we're willing to make,
and we would never ever argue on this show. So welcome everyone. Shout out, nearly on 1,000 viewers.
Let's go. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Any final things to say, or should we do the matches?
Yeah, bro, just the flank. Get it together, bro. Moderate a little better. Ben, calm it down. And Scrap, definitely come back on the show. We need this entertainment, whether it's the flank, dope check, breakdown, any of the around the CDL, any of these podcasts. We need all this. We need as much CDL entertainment content as possible. Let's keep it going and not make these divisions and be odd about it.
And if you do get banned from the flank, you are more than welcome on dope check.
Absolutely, anytime. Invitation is always open.
And your opinion is all valid here. You will not be cut off once, and I promise you, you will also get a complimentary beverage at Toronto.
From Toronto's own facilities. So
yeah. No, we're not paying for it. Like, just on your card. Yeah, we'll have a drink with you, but you'll actually have to buy us around.
Yeah,
you'll have to buy us around. But yeah, it's the thought that counts. Exactly, we're all broke over here.
Yeah, we're good guys on this show,
All right, let's get to the matches, bro.
We have 9 games this weekend, better than the usual 8. So there's actually 3 today, and they're not completely shit. They should be relatively one-sided, but
no, the first 3 are shit.
I mean, yeah, but the first
the reason I say
day,
shit,
I'm interested to see.
The reason I say they're not very good is because,
let's go into it.
There's no team that needs to win here. In terms of the top 3 teams here, like OpTic, Subliners, and Ultra, they're safe. The bottom teams need to win because they always need to win. But do I see them winning against any of these teams? No. Do I see them taking a map or 2? Maybe a map here and there, but I don't see any of these teams beating New York, OpTic, or
I feel like we have a map set now. Hang on, let me see if I can find the map set. Okay, but this first series, Ace, right? Subliners, the series last week against Rocker nearly beat, well, I wouldn't say they nearly beat them, but it's a classic situation right now when Subliners outslay hard and don't win by much. So that's what I'm looking for in this series, because I think the New York will like outslay pretty heavily here, but I want to see if they could be a bit more efficient, you know.
If this was LAN, I would be worried for subliners. This is online, so actually I think 100% this is just in the bag for NYSL. Carolina just don't. They are finally all have it in their facility. Maybe that changes finally. Like we see them online be a bit more dominant. Today's the deciding factor if they look competitive, but overall, I don't think NY is anything to worry about. I think it's going to be a swift 3-0.
Interesting. I mean, okay, the next series, let me just hit a quick little New York on this. Yeah, pretty one-sided on that. OpTic plays Surge. What do we think here? Okay, I know what we think here. But, all right,
what do I think?
All I'll say is, like, the Search and Destroy could get a little bit interesting, because when these teams have played in the most recent couple of events, Surge always tend to win the Search and OpTic will win in 4. And obviously they've got 0-4 now on the team. Can I look at some of the prize picks numbers actually here as well? Abuser, yeah, it's telling us to take the under here actually. So
am I shocked?
No, it's looking like free cash.
Yeah, I'm only excited to see 0-4 play Search, but I still do think 3-0. I just like how 0-4 is making plays on Invasion in his last match. So just excited to see him play and how he plays Search and how he kind of cuts through the map. That's all I'm excited for.
I don't know what's going on there, but like, all good.
I don't. Like I said, some of these matches can go 3-1, but I don't see any upsets happening today.
The next one, I'm actually. If there is gonna be one, I think it's the next one. If there's gonna be one, it's gonna be the next one.
Yeah, so Miami played pretty well last week. Okay, here we go. This is more like it. We can see Heretics and Toronto numbers on prize picks.
Did they play pretty well?
Well, I mean,
got really high right there.
It's all a little bit subjective.
Did they play pretty well?
It's all a little bit subjective, probably. I think that Real
did they
played
play well, or did they just win?
Yeah, I think they played how Heretics sometimes play online, which is respectable enough.
Don't like saying it like that because everyone thinks I'm a hater, but I'm not.
You are
I'm
a
really
hater.
not.
No, I mean, you make a valid point. You make a valid point that they just kind of head bashed their way into a win, essentially, right?
They beat a bad Boston 3-2 and got a comeback map too.
Which again, I got roasted for this all of last week's show, but Mr. Confidence, right? So this is you, Mr. Confidence. Well, the confidence could be there after coming back and winning that series. So only reason why I can see them potentially taking this up is because Envoy's been on a stinker. If Envoy continues the stinker, then there's a possibility, it opens up the realm for Miami to sneak away with a win here. If I'm a betting man, am I betting on Miami? Hell no. I'd rather jump off my own balcony right now. But I'm saying if there's a chance in these 3 matches
in GTA 6, jump off the balcony.
Yeah,
right?
in Minecraft.
Of course. Well, this is a simulation. That's a green screen behind me. It's not real. Okay, listen. Listen. If there's a chance in these 3 matches, who has the biggest chance of upset? I think it's this one, but that doesn't mean I would lean on Miami winning, to be clear.
It's pretty crazy for Envoy here, right? So looking at these prize picks numbers, it's actually kind of crazy. So it's showing up on our website as green, as in like this is potentially a good one to look at on prize picks. Use code Breaking Point if you want to get involved. Deposit match up to $100, all that good stuff. Link in the description. But CleanX is coming up as green based on his recent 5 games in the positive side, and Envoy is coming up as green in the negative side because CleanX has been cooking. He's averaged he's literally double the kills of Envoy in the last 5 hardpoints, which is so ridiculous. Like the Envoy is over under 22 and he's averaged 15, and CleanX is over under 25.5 and he's averaged 30.5. So it's like that is a trend I want to see if that continues, because I mean, look at this. He's gone 25, 14, 11, 18, 9 in his last few hardpoint games. But for some reason, Envoy, like if I look at Search and Destroy, it's a very different story. Like Envoy's gone, well, it's actually not that different. But he did drop 12 kills last time. So
I think
this Envoy hardpoint thing is a story.
I was going to say, I think the scariest match today is probably the Ravens one, just because New York just kill whore in hardpoint. I think I'm not saying Raven. I feel like Ravens could cause the upset because one, Ravens not a terrible S&D team. Right? I don't think they're a terrible S&D team, and I think with New York's how they play hardpoint, with talking about bloody 1.5, 1.7, 1.1, and they win by 10 points. I think I think there's upset potential in there just for a quick steal a hardpoint, take the 2 S&Ds. That's what I see. With Miami, like I said last week, they got my praise. Now I'm back to being a hater. I just believe they beat a bad breach team, or like a team that's just been made. But I think they beat a bad breach team. I think they semi-scraped the win with that. But what I will say is, if they do win, I'll be wearing a Miami Heretics jersey next week, and I'll be on the love train.
I mean, they play again on the Saturday, Trey. They play Thieves. Interesting week for Toronto. I'll just very quickly say on Ravens, because last week they kind of needed to win, because if I look at their upcoming games here, they play Subliners today, then it's Gorillas on the Sunday, and then they still play Thieves, Ultra FaZe, Rocker, which is honestly a pretty hard conclusion. So, like, if they could get a bounce-back win against Subliners today, that would actually really help Ravens' cause. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I will say one more thing. The map set is out. Map 1 is sub-base, so Ravens might be in heaven right now.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, sub-base, Rio Search, high-rise control, Rio hardpoint, Karachi S&D. So I think this map set does actually help Ravens.
Right, New York again aren't playing the new maps. What is this about? They didn't play the new maps against Rocker. They didn't play any of Six Star, any of Vista. And they're still playing the old maps now. What's going on here? Are they scared?
Well, they'd probably still be playing Invasion if that fucking thing was in. So
they would. I think they would. They love that shit. They get kills on it. It's just weird though, right? Because all the other teams have hit this Major 3 qualifiers, the top teams, Toronto, FaZe, OpTic, and they've immediately just slammed in the new maps to get the practice in.
I think this is probably the best thing for them, though. Subbase is the map I was talking about where they played each other in Major 1, and New York were just slamming, spawn trapping them, but they were still winning the map.
Yeah.
I think New York need to come out and 100-point club them and just set a standard that, like, shut the fuck up, Trey. We're not a terrible hardpoint team. We can slam people. That's what we need to see, because honestly, it does just get too close for how good of a team New York are.
Subbase is going to be telling as well, because it's so rotation heavy, that kill whoring on it you can do, but you can kill whore, and like you said, the first time around they played, the points aren't going to reflect at all what the kills mean. So it's going to be a real test for New York to see if they've kind of fixed the problems in their hardpoint going ahead, or it's the same old New York hardpoint that we've seen all year.
Yeah, the control's kind of interesting here. T just been averaging 16 in his last 5, and he's below 22.5 today. They play a high-rise control against New York. They're pretty good at that map. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling that confident in Ravens for this one, but I guess we'll see.
Well, I think we can guarantee they lose the control, because I think they are the worst control team of all time.
Apart from Surge.
So, like I said, they're
still one better.
We're gonna have to go with my prediction of they're gonna have to win first map and the 2 S&Ds, because I don't have Ravens taking a control.
No confidence in Ravens S&D, man. It's like I flip-flop between thinking Ravens are somehow top 6 and they're literally the worst team in the world. Like, both can be true, depending on the day.
That's a pretty valid point. I'm not going to lie. That's a very valid point. I thought about that right now. I'm like, wow, I really do think about Ravens quite consistently.
Yeah, it's the same with LAG, though. We look at LAG, fuck me, they're dog shit. Like, we need to look at them, and then they go to LAN, and we're like, oh, well, this team's pretty good. And then they go back online. Oh, this team's dog shit. Go online, fucking hell, they're pretty good. I hope they don't make champs, because fucking hell, they'll probably win the fucking thing.
Could happen. I mean, they've got to get a dub against Gorillas. If they don't win that, all right, they can blow it up here. But
jump to Saturday?
Quickly on the Saturday, yeah. So Thieves Heretics, I mean, I guess kind of what we think on that might depend on what we see today. Legion OpTic is going to be interesting.
I think Thieves too.
I think Thieves. We can do some quick predictions.
No, I would also take Thieves there. Yeah, I would also take Thieves.
Jodas Thieves is slamming kids. I think he's going to slam the subs on Miami.
I think this Vajan. I think this Vegas and Texas series will be a pretty good one too. ASIM's first time, and like Vegas actually, looked good with semi good with Purge. Now they've got ASIM, who's This will see what Attach is saying, if it has, solved their issues. Obviously, OpTic are a top team, but they're beatable. And this would determine where they are. If they get absolutely shit slammed, then they're just where I thought they would be anyway.
I think it's more pressure on OpTic to win this than it is for Legion to win or lose this. Like, it doesn't. I think for Legion, they have the excuse. ASIM's first game, they lose, it's all good. OpTic, though, if they win, even if they win, but it's a close series, it doesn't reflect well on them. And if they lose, it reflects super poorly on them. So
also,
a lot more pressure
Dashi.
on OpTic.
Happy birthday, Dashi.
Happy birthday, Bruce.
Yeah, happy birthday, Bruce.
And then Seattle Surge in New York.
I think we'll say quickly on this one is like whether Legion decide to play 6-star again, because they got absolutely pissed world starred by Thieves on it, and it's a map that OpTic clearly like because they beat FaZe in it. So I wonder whether Vegas will be like, all right, we need some good practice on this against a good team, or whether they'll think, fuck that, we need the 10 points. Like, I ain't going anywhere near 6-star ever again.
I would think they veto it. I think they'd much rather play Vista or any of the old reliable maps that have been
Vista,
around.
I think, probably.
Yeah. I think they veto the 6-star.
I think as a new team, I think as a new team with new players, or like even just one new player, you just play the mixiest map possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When Rio came out, everyone was just running on Rio.
We'll figure it out. we're either gonna get 100-point club or 100-point club. We'll figure it out mid-rotation.
Yeah.
Well, we get a sad Surge New York here, yeah.
Fucking
New York, bro. New York is done. I don't want the New York. Come on, man.
No one's even picked Surge in this. I honestly like.
Surge is not it, bro.
I hope that I don't really want to say this, but I hope they're still shit, because I just don't like the way they've gone about things. And until Rambo does a proper tweet, I don't want them to think of any more points.
They went 3-2 versus Ravens. They're still shit.
Yeah, I know they might improve, but like. I was just hopeful when I said they were going to stick on 60 points forever. I was hopeful that was going to be true, and then they've picked up a couple of dog shit baiting victories when they somehow 3-0'd Gorillas, and now they've beaten Ravens in 5. Like, those are the only points they've got since I said that. So I need to make sure they don't get any more points.
And then on the Sunday,
because I'm actually a premium Seattle Surge hater. Sunday is actually a banger day though, like excluding the first series, but even that's kind of interesting. But like, let's pretend we don't care about that. We have the Beans Gunless match, and then we have Scrappy Draza to close out the weekend. Like,
I already know how that Boston match is going with Minnesota.
You think
where's it going?
Slapping his dick
Minnesota
on the table?
are gonna win. Minnesota are gonna win.
Wow.
Right. Gunless is gonna re-bring up the tweet.
He's got it in the draft. 100%.
Bearing in mind it was the most pointless beef of all time, but he's gonna bring it back. And he's going to do a quote tweet of like, I wonder if he shot me in the back and screamed dead again after losing, or some shit like that. And then it's going to be...
He's got it in the drafts for sure. Actually,
I
want Rocket to win because of this.
I actually might DM Pierce and be like, what's the plan if you win?
Just to remind you, just in case you forgot. Like, nah, he didn't forget though. He didn't forget.
Oh, heads up. If you want to know, Monday, recording... exclusive podcast with Pierce, by the way.
Really? Wow.
Nice.
They have to win then. He has to win.
They have to win. If they don't win, I don't think he's going to pull up. But
also, another thing Monday, potential special guest I'm hearing, guys.
That is possibly in the works. Stay tuned.
Okay.
It's in the works.
I just want to let you guys
on here, on Dope Check.
On Dope Check, special guest. I don't know who it is. It could be a bunch of people. I spoke to Spinner Spence yesterday. He said he might come on.
Damn, did he really? That's crazy.
Yes,
wow.
I was playing FIFA with Spinner Spence. He said he might come on. I said, we don't want you on. Go make a better league. All right.
We'll take him if that's all we can get,
So he might come on.
Spinner Spence bottom of the barrel guest, but if we have to have him, we'll take him.
He'll be great. He'll be great. But
just kidding.
Like I said, that might be happening, but who knows? Might just be us three, man. Everyone might not want to come on.
Whoop check, absolutely. And then we have to close out the weekend. Pretty banger. I think everyone's excited for Atlanta FaZe, Toronto Ultra. This is a classic COD right here. Who do we got? I need predictions for this one. FaZe. Rab, I'll go last. Go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like on this new map set, I think Toronto can do well. Genuinely, I think Clinics right now is playing like the best player in the game, if not right up there. And if Envoy can just do something, in this duo situation? Because I'm just looking at these maps and I'm thinking like, I know that Abizi and Sim have been frying, but there's still part of me deep down that says that FaZe still have this kind of like online shit. It's the same that happened when they lost to Gorillas, you know. Like, I know their record this season is better than it has been the last couple of years, but the last couple of years, FaZe online have been a little bit up and down, and they easily could have been 3-0'd by OpTic last week if OpTic didn't bloody bottle every situation. So I feel like this is Toronto's to actually take and make a bit of a statement. I know that Draz is absolutely going to want to win, but so is Scrappy. First time they've played really since the big beef of last time. But yeah, my feeling is they're going to play some of the new maps here, and Clinics is going to absolutely fry, and they're going to end up winning in 5.
So I said FaZe up from the womb to the tomb.
My God. FaZe Toronto, Scrap versus Draws. I have a FaZe dub, and Draza again goes right back on Twitter, and we get another banger tweet. We get another banger day for Dope Check, basically. We get another banger day of Dope Check.
What is it with these Sunday night FaZe versus old? I'm going to have to like wake myself up at 4 a.m. because it's going to be popping off. Darian's going to be on the Twitter fingers. Keeks comes out of the woodwork like the Undertaker. Take it back to the stage. Oh, I will be there.
Rap opens one eye, looks at Twitter, has 1,000 notifications, goes, all right, it's time to get up. Instantly knows he's time to make a video.
Glasses on, pomade in the hair, flicking it up, camera recording.
All right,
hi guys, welcome back to another Tech Rap video.
Holy shit, it's 8:01. I think we've done the job, boys.
We have.
Boys,
what a show.
Matches have began. It's about time to get over there. We appreciate you guys. We also appreciate, I just want to shout them out really quick, our YouTube subs, like proper subs to the channel, PD Gaming and Craig Orme. We appreciate you guys for subbing to the channel. We appreciate the super chats today. Thank you guys for watching the Dope Check pre-show live before every week of CDL matches. We will see you guys next week, and we will see you guys Monday, 4 p.m. East Coast time, 1 p.m. West Coast time, and 9 p.m. GMT for Dope Check episode 17 with potential special guests. You'll have to be here to find out. Appreciate you guys. Go watch the matches. We love you. See you guys on Monday.
See you soon.